This isn't a horror movie. This was the Roanoke Colony. 115 men, women, and children vanished without a single drop of blood being spilled.
Imagine you leave your family in the middle of a wild, uncharted wilderness. You're their only hope for survival. You promise to return in 3 months with food and supplies. But then, the world goes to war. 3 months turns into 3 years. When you finally step back onto that shore, the houses are gone, the fires are out. There are no bodies, no signs of a struggle, and no tracks in the dirt. There is only one thing left behind, a single word carved into a wooden post. The year is 1587. England is desperate to get a piece of the New World. John White leads a group of settlers to Roanoke Island. Among them is his daughter, and soon his granddaughter, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in America. But Roanoke was a death trap. They arrived too late to plant crops, and the local tribes were, rightfully, suspicious. White had to sail back to England for help. But he hit a massive roadblock, the Spanish Armada. Queen Elizabeth I seized every ship for the war. John White was stuck. For 1,000 days, he wondered if his family was even alive. August 1590. White finally returns. He expects to hear shouting or children playing. Instead, silence. The settlement was dismantled. This is key. It wasn't burned down. It was taken apart, as if the settlers had time to pack. Then, he finds the clue. Carved into a fence post in capital letters, Croatoan. Before White left, he told the settlers, "If you move, carve your destination. If you're in danger, carve a cross." White looked everywhere. There was no cross. According to the code, they were safe. They had simply moved to Croatoan Island, 50 miles south. But here's where it gets frustrating. A massive hurricane hit. White's ships were nearly wrecked, and he was forced to sail back to England without ever checking the island. He never saw his family again. So, what actually happened? Let's look at the 3 most likely leads. Theory 1. The assimilation. Most historians believe the settlers did exactly what the carving said. They went to live with the Croatoan tribe. Years later, settlers in other areas reported seeing Native American children with light hair and blue eyes who spoke broken English. Theory 2. The secret map. In 2012, researchers looked at a map John White drew in 1585. They noticed 2 small patches of paper covering a section. When they looked underneath with modern tech, they found a hidden symbol of a fort. It's located 50 miles inland. Did the colony split up and head for the woods? Theory 3. The darker path. Some believe they tried to build a small boat to sail home and were swallowed by the graveyard of the Atlantic. Others think they were caught in a political crossfire between warring tribes and didn't survive the journey. For over 400 years, Roanoke has been called the Lost Colony. But maybe they weren't lost. Maybe they were just abandoned by a country that forgot them in the middle of a war. Archaeologists are still digging today at Site X, finding 16th century English pottery buried deep in the North Carolina soil. Every year, we get a little closer to the truth. Maybe the real mystery isn't where they went, but how easily history can erase entire lives.
What do you think? Did they vanish into the tribe, or is there a darker secret buried in the woods of Roanoke?